I built this entire website yesterday with one agent using Claude Fable. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the same in 6 easy steps. So step number 1 is to find websites for inspiration. So I like to go to awards, and then we can go to sites of the year, sites of the day. Let's go to here, sites of the year, and we can see all these different websites that we can copy. And they have all sorts of different styles here. They have artistic, they have kind of realistic here. And you can also click on the website and view it. Wow, okay, so that's super cool, really cool. Wow. Anyway, this can get a little addicting, but you get the point. There's some really incredible websites that win these international awards, and if you're designing your own website, you might as well copy the best. So here's an example of another one that's like crazy. I mean, yeah, look at this. This is insane. Anyway, you kind of get the point. There are some really amazing websites that you can find here, and what you want to do is you want to find ones that kind of fit your taste, where you could kind of see like, okay, I'd want something similar to this. So to be completely transparent, I'm going to show you which websites I used as inspiration for the one that I showed you earlier here. So this studio, Unseen Studio, has a lot of good ones. They also charge for it. The one that I copied basically, or used as inspiration, that was this website from Blue Yard. And I thought that the visuals did a really good job here, in the sense that they didn't really distract from the overall message, but they were also attention grabbing. And so I said I could kind of see my website having a similar sort of idea to this. Not the same color scheme or anything like that, or even necessarily the same vibe, but sort of the same layout type of thing. You get what I mean? Step number 2, feed the website into ChatGPT and ask it to come up with a plan for how it would create a website like this. So you can see this is the exact prompt I used, and I just put Blue Yard in there so that it could search it up and tell me exactly how something like this is created. So see, it tells you the tech stack that was used, kind of how it was used, and it does a lot of research, and so ChatGPT does a really good job with this. And so you can see after it wrote down how that website was built, I said I want to design a website like this for my agency, blah blah blah, and I asked it to A, come up with a plan that I could give to an agent to build it out, and B, what sort of information an agent would need from me to build it out. And so it did both of those things and did quite a good job, I should say. So it came up with the plan, and then it also came up with the minimum information packet needed to complete for me. So this brings us to step number 3, which is to write down any helpful information for the agent before you tell it to create the website. So pretty much all of this I filled out with some tweaks. So here you can see the document that I gave to my agent, and you can see the one sentence description of what I said that the company would be about. This was really important here, the brand logo files. So I gave it a brand logo so that it could reference that, and I also gave it the brand colors. And I highly recommend, if you do nothing else, that you at least give it the brand colors, because you do not want it to come up with its own colors for you. I also gave it example websites that I liked more, so I put Blue Yard here, and then this is another one I liked, and then I gave example websites that I didn't like. I gave it all the content copy, so the link to my YouTube channel, the link to my Calendly, the link to my LinkedIn. Could have given it more if I had more. Yeah. And then the portfolio. So I gave it some things and described that so that it could build that out a little bit, but I actually do still need to give it more. So if you have all that stuff, please give it as much as you can. So this step is actually the hardest part of the entire process, but I have to tell you to not be lazy with this part. This part is super, super duper important, and it can save you a lot of rework and tokens, by the way, down the line. So step 4 is to collect all the information into a GitHub repo. So once you're done editing that file, upload it to GitHub. Also upload the plan document that has all the information for the tech stack, the description for how the other website that you took inspiration from was built. Upload all of that stuff, any pictures of yourself, profile pictures, any artifacts that you want displayed as well. Just give it as much as you can that you want in your website. And so that way it has has everything it needs to put something great together. And now for the fun stuff. Step 5 is to unleash Fable. And so what I have right here is the exact prompt that I used initially. So I used the gold/command. I said read through the build guide and the relevant info, both those files that we saw earlier that were created by ChatGPT 5.6. Then design an amazing website for Biotite Solutions. The website should be top tier, see examples in relevant info, and then some words of encouragement. The point here is that the prompt is not doing the heavy lifting. Our markdown files that we created earlier are doing the heavy lifting, because after reading our prompt, the agent is going to read through those files and know exactly what to do. So with that one prompt, it was able to one-shot a lot of what you see here right now. All of this copy and all the buttons, the color scheme, everything you see right here, the different tabs, all of this stuff, it created in one shot. So it did, I think, a phenomenal job. And importantly, it built the correct architecture and it built a solid foundation for the website so that later iterations were very easy for it. So step 6 is to fine tune. And for that step, we're just going to fine tune the website to what we want. So for this example, I can show you what I used, right? I put another goal/command and I said that's a great start, but you can do so much better. And then I told it to look at the previous websites that I used as examples and try to get our website to there. So after that, it made some marginal improvements, but what really helped was when I finally gave it some direction. Now, this is something that might happen to you where you might not have the clearest vision in the world for how you want your website to be, but after an iteration or two with Fable, you might be able to get an idea of like, you know what? I really want this. This is sort of a creative process, so don't expect to have an idea the first time. If you do, great, but if not, you can also play around with Fable. Once I described what I wanted, it was actually pretty good at making that. Then after some steering instructions that I gave it, telling it to make it darker, etc., I came up with another idea. Once I was satisfied with that artifact, I thought that the intro of going through the plates would be a very cool effect. And so I did instruct it to do that. Fable did not come up with that on its own. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the iterative process that I went through in step 6 to create something like this artifact. So a few closing thoughts. So firstly, you do need a $20 a month Claude plan with Fable. You don't need to buy the $200 a month plan, but you do need a paid plan at $20 a month just so you have access to Claude code and Fable to be able to create this website. Is this website done? Well, not completely. I still need to write the copy for it because I don't want to just have AI write the copy and have that be the end-all be-all. Fable does write better copy than pretty much any other model, but it's still not the best. Still not as good as human-written copy. So you definitely want to write the copy yourself. I also want to put more artifacts here in the portfolio tab so that people have some more proof to look at for these things. And lastly, I want to set expectations. Are you going to create an award-winning website like this guy and one-shot it with Fable? No, of course not. Otherwise, nobody would pay these guys 6 figures to create their website for them. But you can get a pretty cool website, much cooler than I could have ever created before, right? I don't know anything about UI UX. I've never studied it, and I've never really built websites, and I was able to create this. So all that is to say, the caliber of website that you can create, even if you have no experience with UI stuff, is actually quite high now because Fable is really good at these artistic things and it has a really good eye for design. So if you give it all the right steps and you give it a solid foundation, it can create a pretty phenomenal website. Another thing is that the reason that this strategy works, the one that I showed you, is because of this step right here, where we asked how the example website was created and got the tech stack down. What this does is it makes it so that your website ends up having a really solid foundation. And so if it has the solid foundation, even if it doesn't look exactly how you want it when you first start out, you can get it there very easily. Like Fable creating this, it looks way better than it did at first, but it was very easy to do that because the website already had a solid foundation. So that's it. It's pretty easy. 6 simple steps, and honestly, it's quite a lot of fun to just play around with Fable and get it to create basically your vision. Like once you can see it and you can describe it to Fable, Fable can create some really cool stuff. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and happy coding.